That group is known as Bru Boru. An unusual name, that's. Lala Pádraig atá going, and Bru Boru is the hosting house of Brian Boru. There's a long story attaching to that, but this is in Cashel, under the Rock of Cashel, a wonderful establishment, a wonderful theatre here. And our wonderful dancers will be back with some more of their work in due course. I'd like you to welcome, please, my guests on Lifelines, Ian Féile Pádraig, prime movers in Bru Boru and in everything to do with Comhaltas Cultúra, Lauras agus Una Ó Murchú. This is your life and your life, okay? We're not talking about Comhaltas, we're talking about you. And speaking as one Murphy to another, right? You used to be Larry Murphy. You're now Lauras Ó Murchú. Would you ever tell me in 30 seconds how did that come about?
Well, I think, Liam, when I came to the use of reason, which was about 16 or 17, I decided that I'd like to have my name in Irish. And obviously I had to go through whatever formalities were necessary. I think one of the main reasons for that was that I had taken an interest in things Irish, particularly from our own schools here in Cashel, but also having gone to an Irish college in Newcastle, which was taught by that wonderful Irishman, Donal O'Loughley. And as a result of that, I wanted to use the name in Irish as a badge of my national identity.
Your mother was English?
She was indeed. My mother was an English lady from Birkenhead, and my father was Irish. He had played a prominent role in the War of Independence. So I suppose you could say I was the product of a mixed marriage.
And Nora Daly, from the townland of Kilmaley. Well, Una, you are not Nora Daly, you're Una Ronan, isn't that right?
I'm not Nora Daly, no Liam. I'm Una Ronan from Kilmaley, and very proud to be a Clare woman. My mother was MacMahon, so the MacMahons were in Clare since the dawn of history. But my father was Ronan, and direct from Cuiltimach Ronan Scale, the Fianna Éireann. But my ancestors came from Lisrona and Rathronan about 350 years ago. Cromwell sent them across to Connacht. Clare was in Connacht then. And only for that, perhaps I'd be here in Tipperary, and instead of being brought up in the marshy land of Clare, maybe I'd own half of Tipperary, maybe the whole lot.
You and President Reagan. All right, Lauras and Una Ó Murchú a China Uisle. Bulla Boston, give it to me. President Reagan and Mrs. Reagan came to visit, as we remember, Ballyporeen way back in the 80s. I think it was 84 was the year. And they came, and of course, they came to Ballyporeen, the ancestors' place, the home place, if you like. And up there, on a famous day, I well remember, the Bru Boru group, the Bru Boru, entertained them. Let's have a look at this now, jog your memory.
We would like to commence this section of your visit with a traditional Irish welcome, a traditional Irish entertainment provided by our singers, our musicians and dancers from Comhaltas Cultúra.
It's worldwide. That was a president of the United States. Comhaltas is worldwide now, Lauras.
It is indeed, yes. We have 400 branches, and a very interesting development in the last few weeks that we actually have a new branch now in Nuremberg and a new one in Budapest.
Nice,
we have a branch in Tokyo and Sardinia and many other parts of the world. And I think in many ways it shows that the richness of our heritage and of our culture is so attractive to so many other nationalities, and I think we should never forget that in the context of tourism. We have something to be very proud of in this country, and something which is unique and exclusive to ourselves, and I think we're learning that year by year.
Down there in the hall is Pádraig O'Callagh, who's president, is he?
That's right, yes.
President Pádraig O'Callagh out there in front. I suppose you'd say, Pádraig, would you not, the strength of Comhaltas, however, is not the worldwide stuff, it's the local branches. Is that about right?
I'd agree, Liam. It is the local branches. Our heart and soul is in the country and in the local branches, and that's what makes it so good. But of course, the local branches wouldn't do if we hadn't people up along the line and units up along the line to do the work of Comhaltas. None more than at the very top our Ard Stewardhore. And I'm very lucky to be Uachtaráin at this time and to have worked very closely with Lorás and Morocco for the past 2 years. But of course, again, when you come to think of it, you had a king from Clare taken over here, but now you have a queen from Clare who has taken over.
She's not. She's not. Whatever. Una's lovely. Una's lovely, Paddy, but I never heard her called a queen. Michael Brown, beside you there, Michael, is chairman of the Urban District Council.
That's right, Liam, yeah.
Has Bru helped you here in Cashel?
Of course it has, enormously. I mean, you've seen the President of America and his wife, former President of America and his wife, were never shown internationally, ever all over the world. And this complex here is as fine as you get anywhere in Europe.
Gamil Magat, Michael, there you are, Boulevasta. Fish, my shot. Fish. The World Fair was in Osaka in Japan in 1990. And there was an Irish week there. And the Bru Boru were asked to perform there. And this is the kind of thing that's happened. Have a look at this one. Bru Boru in Osaka in Japan. And the man who was involved in bringing them to Osaka and to Seville, I think I'm right in saying, involved them in Channel 9 in Australia, was Tom Giblin, who used to be marketing manager at Board Fáilte, Tom. Is that right? You had a big influence on that, Tom. How did they react to them in these places?
Well, I should say initially that Lorás really has made such a positive, has brought such a positive focus on tourism in Ireland, really in 3 different areas. Here in Cashel, Lorás would be recognised as one of the major architects in attracting visitors to Cashel. His creation of Bru Boru here, this magnificent new culture and heritage centre, certainly augments and enhances the magnificent Rock of Cashel, one of our great national monuments. But in Ireland alone, Lorás has, through Bru Boru and through Comhaltas, has brought entertainment to thousands and thousands of visitors all over the country. And indeed here in Bru Boru and also at Culture na HÉireann in Blackrock in County Dublin, Lorás provides entertainment where our visitors can really identify and live with Irish culture. But on the international scene, I believe that Lorás is a magnificent promoter for Ireland in the areas of tourism, trade, commerce and Irish culture.
Bhaile a chuin uair go bhfuil sin fáilte speisialta an Sathnócht bhíh Ard Asbog Cashel agus Imlach an Tard Asbog Diarmuid Clifford. Fáilte speisialta old friends. I think I'm going to have to say old friends, Dermot.
That's right.
You and I will talk later tonight. That's
indeed.
right. God bless you, Dermot. Nice to see you here. Now, another old friend of mine from Bru Boru, from away off in Kerry and many a flack Bobby Gardner is talking Paul Hogan saw down to Lish. Paul Ryan at down to Lish. On vertical kill, this is one of the great stalwarts of this house and of the whole of Cultus Culturea. Bobby Gardner, August Don Ryan.
Dory idle dum to three dum doodle dum to three dum to three dum dum idle dum to three dum doodle dum dero. Dory idle dum doodle dum to three doodle dum doodle dum had the idle dum to dum doodle dum dero. Dory idle la 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 mama mama ma na 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 di dari dari up to the idle dum to dum doodle dum dero.
Fáilte roimh ash, and so a Bru Boru, a Cashel. Bru Boru, right under the rock of Cashel, where my guests and Lifelines tonight are Laura and Uda O'Murco. Now, one might be expected to believe and to think that it was all traditional music around here, but it's not so. Other kinds of music go on too. The Sunshine Express Jazz Band plays around this town and in other places. And have a look especially at the two trombone players. One of them is the brother of Laura O'Murco, and the other is his nephew, the Sunshine Express Jazz Band. Don't you be applauding. You'll be excommunicated.
Well, I can tell you, the next cultist meeting I go to, I'm in serious trouble, and all my friends here tonight.
How do you reconcile that, though, Laura?
I have no difficulty whatever, because I love jazz to start with, you know, and in my younger days here...
Some of them were shouting shame over there.
Shame, I know. And I've a lot of similarities, in fact, with jazz, because both in jazz and traditional music you have improvisation.
Yeah.
And after all, it is my brother, so what am I going to say otherwise, you know? I would say this about Cashel, though, in fairness. There's always been a wonderful tradition of talent in this town. The number of bands that were produced, the Dr. Dermot O'Hurley Pipe Band, the St. Patrick's Brass and Reed Band, the numerous dance bands that we've had. Very, very talented area, and it still continues. And I think it's a great tribute to any area that can put 12 musicians of such a talent in front of a community concert like
really,
this.
It is really a small town, it really is. I suddenly remember this about Kieran McMahon one night, and saying to him, do you play, sing, dance, or do anything at all? I think he plays the whistle, to the best of my knowledge. Do you do any?
Well, some people would say I don't do anything at all.
Did you see that Laura lately? Fred O'Donovan, he said to me, he can't sing, dance, act, do anything at all, and the wife added, and he's useless around the house.
And I'll tell you, if you say that here, you'll get a big round of applause as well.
Your sister is up there now, just to say hello to Kathleen, isn't it?
That's right.
Kathleen is the sister, and we saw Jimmy and your nephew in the band earlier. Mary Collison is here now. Put your hand up, Mary, do we have a look at you? Oh, begob, you're our sister, all right. And
my brother from Kilmaley, PJ is
it's
there.
from Kilmaley. How many were you now?
5, and I was the youngest.
Yeah.
And I wasn't spoiled.
Only since she got married.
I think the first time I ever met you was down in Ballyferris or down at Maria. You weren't even with this fellow at the time.
No, not at all.
God loved it.
And we'd appreciate if on screen you didn't say with whom she was on that occasion.
I remember very well. Not telling you.
We may gobble good deal. We may gobble le Murish
Murish, Massey, Beat, gobble le Murish.
Burig, we say Monan since you collapsed there in Tauri.
Vi tog moine in Lasgrave fresh nachher.
The V.
Agus ta Kailin and so Mary Dorgan. Hashin Shahus. Mary Vishi the one she toss Vishi more run to her guts nachher Mary. She teach you.
That's right, yeah, she was. I knew her as Miss Ronan, of course, but she taught us Irish, and she had a kind of a tough job, because I don't think as a school we were renowned for our Irish at the time, but she did a good job. She was best remembered by most of my class anyway as having been the teacher who started the debating season and the debating series that we had, and she set us into teams with the local boys' school, which is the monastery in Roscrea. So she made me captain of the girls' school, and Dick Spring, no less, was captain of the boys' school. So she takes some credit, I think, for Dick Spring being able to field the heckling these days.
Yeah, okay. Yes,
and
go on.
tell them who won, Mary.
Well, we won when you were there. We started to lose after you left, I think.
Okay. Sister Paul is beside you.
That's right, Liam.
But
well, Ross Gray's loss was Cashel's gain.
Yeah.
So Una came to teach with us in Cashel, and I was teaching with her for many a year.
Yeah.
We actually started off together. And she brought that same enthusiasm for teaching and for everything cultural to Cashel, and she shared that generously with the students. She was also a woman of great vision, and she saw at the time that there was a need for guidance and counselling in school, and she went ahead and trained as a guidance counsellor. And actually I was so inspired by the job she did in Cashel that when I finished there myself, I went ahead and trained as a guidance counsellor.
I remember that about you. Okay, now, who will ever forget the All-Ireland hurling final of 1995? And I have yet to meet anybody, Cork, Tipperary, Limerick, Kilkenny, anywhere else, who begrudged Clare their wonderful victory. It was a wonderful day in Cork Park. Have a look at the closing minutes of it. Here they are. Have a look at this.
Tears of joy if they can do it. Look at this. Jamesy O'Connor. Score of just 1 point so far from 7 or 8 chances.
And if Jamesy puts this over the bar, I don't think he's going to be too worried about the ones that have gone by.
Absolutely not. And he's done so. Jamesy's second point. I'm sure there's a loss there tomorrow in Clare in St. Flannan's. And Clare are just about to win. They've won. Clare have won the All-Ireland. What a victory. A tribute to the determination and no little craft. Well coached by Ger Loughnane. He told us at half-time they'd do it. He said they'd win the Munster. They did. Eat your heart out, Biddy Early. Clare have done it by 2 points, 113 to 2-8.
No one, Seamus MacMahon sin the chud cultus culture, and you sang it for me on the eve of the All-Ireland. Remember that?
I did indeed.
Yeah, will you sing it for me now?
Surely.
It'll be your last chance because we're going to win the Munster final this year.
You've heard of Mackie and of Ringy, of Jimmy Doyle and of Eddie Kerr, but here's the story and the glory of the mighty hurling men from Clare. For heart and skill, those hurling stalwarts against all comers hold the sway. They conquered Limerick, Cork and Galway, they won the crown on All-Ireland Day. Come on the banner, shouted from every hill and glen. Sing it once more, come on the banner, sing it for Clare and our hurling men.
Father Green is behind you there, Shim. Father Green, Christos the Lord, we see where you are. Okay, Father Green, you used to be a drama producer, weren't you?
I used to be.
And she was one of your actresses.
She was a prominent one.
Was she good?
She was very good. In fact, she won an All-Ireland trophy.
Is that so?
As being the best actress in Ireland at the time.
That's lovely.
So she was that good.
Somebody said to me that Laros is all the powerhouse and the drive and the flair and all the rest of it, but this one has the artistic instincts.
Yeah.
Where's Michael? Michael Dundon. Where's Michael in the hall? Michael is from the Stars, isn't it?
Tipperary Stars.
Tipperary Stars.
That's right.
And you were the one, I think, is it you the one who said that this fellow was the powerhouse?
No, it wasn't I said that, but I just thought that it was appropriate that the programme is going out on St. Patrick's Day, which is the great missionary occasion. Yeah. And Tipperary has a great tradition of missioners back there, and Archbishop Clifford will vouch for all the young men that go out from St. Patrick's College in Thurles, spreading the gospel to the four corners. And I think that Ross has done much the same with traditional music. As you heard earlier with all the various branches there are, he has gone out to the four corners of the world, spreading the gospel of the quality and the richness that there is in the Irish music. He's been a great ambassador for Ireland, and I think that while Cork and Clare may have their moments here tonight, I think that we in Tipperary are particularly proud of Lord Ross and what he has done for Irish music.
Well done, Michael. Well done. Tom is beside you, Tom Carr, from the Nationalist in Clonmel.
The Clonmel Nationalist, that's right, Liam.
You're the one who said about him that he was the powerhouse.
Well, I had a wonderful experience of working closely with Ross during the 3 years of the Fleadh Cheoil na hÉireann in Clonmel, being a member of the local organising committee.
Yeah.
And it was certainly an education watching his marvellous people handling and diplomatic skills at work. He's a great motivator of people. He tends to bring out the best, to accentuate the positive, and to encourage people rather than criticise. And I think in those couple of years, I haven't heard him raise his voice in anger once or lose his cool. He's a very cool customer.
Yes, I believe you so. Are you? Are you? Are you? Are you?
I suppose when you're working with good people, it's easy to be like that. But I would like to say, now that Tom has mentioned the Fleadh Cheoil, it's one of the great events, if you like, of the year in Ireland. You can attract up to 150,000 people. And one thing I can remember about Clonmel was the decorum of the people on that occasion. 150,000 a whole weekend and not a single arrest in that town. I think it says something for the followers of things cultural, and it's also a pointer that we should keep our culture because it has its own disciplining influence on people as well. And Clonmel was one of the finest venues that we had since 1951.
The Koreans. Cultus Culturier and Bru Boru, they go all over the world now. I saw them myself in Ottawa there in the month of October. Wonderful they were, and a packed hall with 100,000 people. And they were the Bru people and the Cultus people playing in the American tour. But the strangers and the foreigners come to them too. Have a look at this now. The North Koreans who came to the Flat Ceol in Clonmel, and listen to what they're singing. I see. What now?
I'll just make a point about the North Koreans. We got an invitation to go to North Korea, which you know is a communist country, and we went willingly because our attitude was that culture and music brings people together. Sure. And I'm glad to say that this year I've got an invitation to visit South Korea. And I often think that even in our own case here in Ireland, with all the difficulties we have in the northern problem, if you think about it, the one thing that tends to unite all people, irrespective of politics, irrespective of religious differences, irrespective of class, is Irish traditional music, because it's older than all our divisions, and we should never underestimate the power of music and culture to overcome a lot of our political difficulties. And I certainly feel that cultus, like other bodies like it, can play a major role in promoting peace and justice in this country, which will bring a final solution to the problems which have divided us over the years. You know.
Paddy, somebody who's done an enormous amount, as you well know, Ross, to promote what you're talking about is Paddy Doherty from the Bogside in Derry. Paddy. I know, Paddy, you have Cashel connections through an aunt, isn't that it?
I have, yes.
But I really want to talk to you about Derry. Tell me rapidly about the Cashel connection. She was an aunt, wasn't it?
Well, she was an aunt, and I didn't know anything about her until the 60s, when I told my mother that I was heading for a round trip of Ireland with my wife. And I said, and I was always attracted to Cashel because of its mystique and its mystery and its magic, and I wanted to go to the rock. She says, when they're there, will you call with your aunt? And I says, what, aunt? She says, your Aunt Mag. I says, who's that? She says, your Aunt Mag, she lives in Cashel. And I came and discovered between 60 and 70 cousins and second cousins of the extended family that never had met my whole life before.
My God. You're a Tipperary man, Paddy?
Yes.
What, Paddy? What's that?
She came from Gorey in the County Wexford.
Oh, God, you're all mixed up. But Paddy is one of the great men of Ireland. Is that not so, Laura?
It is. I met Paddy Doherty. Paddy should be sitting up here and I should be down in the audience, really, because I met Paddy Doherty in the context of the Irish Family History Foundation, which has 35 centres throughout the country. And I'm glad to say that we have both traditions in the north of Ireland as part of that particular project. But I have always found Paddy to be a doer and a worker. And I've been to Derry, and he really single-handed has helped to rebuild a lot of Derry since the trouble started. And there's one great phrase Paddy always had. If ever you felt about, should you do something, he'd always say, look, do it, he'd say, because it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to look for permission.
The great songs, they're absolutely great songs in the Déise of Waterford, and none lovelier than Éirí ní Nóisín Céhí. For Ireland, I'll not tell her name. And why couldn't he tell her name? Because who she was his brother's wife. And he had fallen in love with her, the poor fella. And he sings this lovely thing, Éirí ní Nóisín Céhí. And here now is Liam Clancy and friends with Éirí ní Nóisín Céhí.
The night star at sea, and the fire brought a crowd in. They say that her beauty was like music in mouth, and few in the candlelight thought her too proud. For the house of the planter is known by the trees. And men who had seen her drank deep and were silent. The women were talking wherever she went, like a bell that is rung, or a wonder told shyly. And oh, she was the Sunday in every week. Is meg tärna valjoen Ära dig vara den tjåre shahis Da hevlig anspervan omkår Och long time Lay young on me is not long The braves the pure honey vine The lakes is herren min åsen Agraken di porciapian hei is gehoir on Nederlandsgreer Buying a goir La bontenige La barrel Oh, buying oil Oh, wine Mila corn och hostel young Corners hey and of lot Och morsi Are roche Ma
Fare thee well, Castle Connell and the Falls of Douglas. Castle Connell on the banks of the Shannon. And from there is Anne Mulqueen, now lives in Ring in Waterford. Shohi Anne down to le de hinin sorcha ni chéalachair in ila Thomas o chéalachair as an Rango Gwonach e Bortlaige agus an Pashtin Fionnacha.
It's a peer mar la morta. Is to some maroon, is to some is magragal, is to some is mahaman gabon, shem trakan tugam o farin. Karm o chrim o fast in fjaun, a dagru lasse mar flach na graun. Hom se ser ma fast in fjaun, a gewoon door a golem slante. Is to some maroon, is to some is magragal, is to some is mahaman gabon, shemak shakan tugam od varin. The men and the young they go back, smashing to ventilans, smetter Nacham Maris, mes moina vart, nis na vain shelefat na leglechu. Is to some maroon, is to some is magragal, is to some is mahaman gabon, shemak shakan tugam od varin. Treket malainters machar de gwir, agus treket de varin de vanoi van til. Ni reket de varin hu abram achri, nu machine for the gordon fechlar me. Is to some maroon, is to some is magragal, is to some is mahaman gabon, shemak shakan tugam od varin.
A pretty and a lovely song there now, and that was a mammy and her daughter. And wasn't that lovely? My first film, my lovely blonde child, but isn't her child singing at all? That's a love song now. Very dangerous sentiments and bits of that I want to tell you. I have a fact, Auron Alling and Mulqueen agus a hidin and son Sorocha. Tá Sean McCarthy, Dr. Sean McCarthy, he's Solochteish Tuchta. General Practitioner in Cashel, Sean.
Yes, Liam.
You're a minister. You're now councillor. What about this Bru Boru? What has it done for you in Cashel?
Well, Liam, may I say that first of all that Laura Ross and myself go back many years before politics. one thing, fortunately, they were, well, fortunately from their point of view, they were never sick, so I never made money out of them. But I became very friendly with them. And Ross was 18 years on the Cashel Urban District Council and chairman, I think, on 4 occasions. And he was a superb councillor. He represented the town well. And then he went on elsewhere. And to me, they became a Dominic duo. Ross and Una, a Dominic duo. And because they worked so closely together, and they did so much for Cashel in the realms of tourism. I mean, here we're down here at the bottom of the Rock of Cashel, where we have 200,000 people coming every year, the 3rd highest visitor scene in Ireland, I'm led to believe, and 60 to 70,000 come down here because they built it. And I can tell you, you couldn't meet more tough people than Ross and Una when they're trying to get a deal done which they think will work. And many councillors who are here with me will say that, and they'll present their case and very formally, and you won't meet one of them on their own. The two will be together.
Well done, Sean. Sean used to be, Sean Hill, isn't it? Sean used to be chairman of the Urban.
It's like a councillor's corner around here.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, all right.
Chairman and former chairman. I was, but I knew Ross more importantly going back to my childhood. When we came to Cashel, my mother was a native Cashel woman. My father was from County Waterford and a native speaker. He was a bit like Pádraig Ó Conradh because he had the TB in the 1950s. He had to go from one place to another on the Olassen car, which he used to use as a kind of a school on wheels. But one of his most talented and able pupils was Ross and Murracu. Agus níos fear chun é Lord Maher, nor a bhí a couple of joke-holting. But he found out the thing he used to say about Ross. He was impressed by his genuine affection, and my father was a fella who wouldn't put up with posers too easily. But the one thing that impressed him about, he used to say, Níl mas ag Ross ar an ngailing, tá grog ar an ngailing, tá grog ar an Shanatanga. And that was true then, and it's true today, and it's true about everything he's done in relation to the promotion of Irish cultural pursuits.
Oh, that's really. Pat Sweeney is the coldest man in Britain, isn't that right?
I'm chairman of Coulters in Britain.
How many branches, Pat?
We have 36 branches at the moment and 3 more to be formed soon.
That's gone. Tá tú sasna le blianta ó dach a héan ó dagan?
Ó dag me dún ngála ní ke jeg cúg agus a 3.
As cenna cean gat?
Ó tá cudhór eisce dul síos an sinna an amsin. Bhí sé an amar an cachmór an ar hanig me gyd an bratan.
As nes na.
Agus, well, tá me rugam bhí me a gobar hart farm bratan. A hanig me gyd Manchester, casa me ar Carlinas chundé wei ó agus pásamed agus an sin an corman Sean an stata tormanis.
And to Jennifer Gama, Faircontor, Tammy Faircontor, that to Jennifer Van was stay married to that woman, it's a good idea. Michael Ferris is a Labour TD, isn't it? Banshee, am I right, Michael?
That's right, Liam, yes.
Banshee Peeler went out one night.
That's it.
Isn't that right? Michael, you were involved with European affairs, aren't you, Michael?
That's right, I'm the chairman of the European Affairs Committee, and of course this year we have the presidency in Ireland, and I'll have the opportunity as president of the European Affairs Committees for the whole of Europe to bring him down to Bru Boru and to be able to be proud of the culture that Ross and Una have sponsored here in the heart of Tipperary. I'll bring him to the 3 heritage towns, Tipperary, Cashel and Cahir, and I'm sure that the Europeans will be delighted with what we have to give them in Cashel.
He was, Michael was, of course, a great supporter of yours way back.
Always was, I must say. Even in the early stages when we wanted some support, I must say that both Michael and Sean McCarthy were 2 people who gave us excellent support in the early years.
That was some coalition for you.
It was.
Just to say, Tom,
But I also just, if I may just mention also that we have Deputy Teresa Herden here tonight, and she has always been a wonderful supporter. You might think I'm trying to satisfy all the parties, but I'm not in effect. Teresa has been a great help and a great support, and I'd like to acknowledge that tonight as well.
Tom Ambrose, Teresa. The mayor of Clonmel is there, Tom Ambrose. Welcome, Tom. Fáilte Rotastach. All we have time for. Fáilte Rotastach. August and Michael Maguire is chairman of the Tipperary South Riding County Council. That's so Tipperary is an extraordinary county. There's an extraordinary apartheid in Tipperary, North and South, never the twain shall meet. Knuckle and Cartagum. This is an extraordinary statement. Somewhere you'll find it in the Gospels. Before Abraham was, I am. What it is one of the great basic sentiments of Christian philosophy, really, as I understand matters. Find it in St. Thomas. In any case, before Cultus Cultori Aaron was, there was somebody else who was around this island, wrote great programs, as I well remember, called the Ballad Maker Saturday Night. And there's a message specially for you and Una from Brian McMahon in Listowel.
Well, it's Cyrm sé gach benacht agus da goie trílart a lóráis agus bhain agus úna nó agus tá súla go bhfuil sé bheraus agus go bhfuil big an ardí he go an sun. I know exactly what I'm talking to you, Laura's. I'm talking to you right in Bru Boru. I know every inch of it and all that area around it. So it's a great pleasure for me to pay a tribute to you. You bridged the chasm between thought and deed. And that's something that we need badly in our society. Oh, I have the greatest respect for Cultus, Cultori Aaron. My own place here in Listowel, the town bubbles up with excitement. 70,000 people pour in from all parts, come from all parts. I have a friend coming from Tokyo University, himself and his wife, and they teach Irish music there, our own traditional music. Bru Boru, of course, is a direct descendant of something I saw as a young man when I went to Cashel first. And that is the people from the countryside used the Rock of Cashel as their Ballybunion, their Salt Hill, or their Tramore. It is where they came of a Sunday afternoon to rejoice. And they'd go way up to the top of the rock to a place called the Square Castle, I think. And there they'd dance and they'd sing. And the most extraordinary thing to me, they were on the edge of a big chasm. There was a drop of 60 feet if they put a foot wrong, but they danced there. And your Bru Boru, which is a credit to you, is a direct continuation of that, a linkage with that, a refinement of that. Yes, I think that you have succeeded in doing something which is, I consider quite remarkable. Yourself and Una, of course. You have gathered the lovely refinements of the people and raised it to a folk art. Something that's absolutely so to my beloved Cashel, right into the heart of Ladies Well Street, and away up all my friends who are up the rock. I send you greetings, Cyrm gach benach, the trial is the enough, agus go marry to an cade, agus go marry Cultus Marian.
You wanted to say something to me following
Well, I
Brian?
wanted to say to Brian McMahon, a bhrian níl de chárú le fáil. And Brian will know that across the road from us lived Doheny, another famous Irishman. So this is for you, Brian. For thee I've tracked the mountainside and slept within the brake, more lonely than the swan that glides o'er Lua's fairy lake. The rich have spurned me from their doors because I'd set you free, and yet I love you most of all, a chush le gal mochri.
Oh my God. The Doheny she's talking about is Michael Doheny in the house here under the Rock Cashel, the man who wrote the Felons Track, one of the great Fenian patriots. Ishmasha, we've done the he had taught all the people are not sugar, the energy for transport, energy and communications is Michael Lowry. I remember him well from Semple Stadium, so I do, in this county. We never got to talk about the hurling. Anyway, Michael is in Brussels and unable to be with us. He's on Nation's Business in Brussels. He sends you this message, Lauras and Una.
Hello, Liam, Lauras and Una. Sorry I cannot be with you down in Cashel tonight, but I am delighted to be able to be associated with the many compliments and tributes that are being paid to you. Tonight we salute your many achievements and we encourage you to continue the good work. Your passion, your enthusiasm and your pride in our culture, in our Irish language, our song, music and dance is indeed infectious. Ihawa agus slán líomh go léir.
Tá deire déanta go don ihe a nacht. Tá mid buirta láras do úna agus tas na gailta agus na cáda fad a tháinig an seo le bheith leogus leis na daonóiste an ordána bhíon seoling. Tá sé ihe na féle páda gotá going agus is stálim go códa marrá go mérimí dó ag an nám seo a ríis. Ach sal a gcuimid cíoch leis an ihe ba chódún go bheith fiochint ar na dáseoirí ríis as Bru Boru. The Bru Boru dancers and the Kilfanora Caliph band le cíocha chuirla siníthe. Slán agus bannacht.